Palladium fans, we are back with more History of Palladium books, and we're jumping right back into the Burbs. If you don't know what the Burbs are or want to learn more, go check out the video that we had just posted. You can find it on palladiumbooks.com. And I'm very remiss in saying this, so I figure, once every 50 episodes or so, you can cut me a little slack. But hey, if you are enjoying this content, please like, subscribe, and comment. It allows the algorithm to go, hey, people are enjoying this. Let me send it out to other people. Last time we covered the Burbs, and this time we're going to dive into the source books that are available for you to start a Burbs campaign today. But we're going to start with one we kind of touched on last time, just as a recap, so that for those of you in the future, all of these videos are together here for you in one place. Kevin, walk us through what's in the Bionic Source book and why this is a key source book for playing in the Burbs.
This is great because the Burbs is a place where you can get all kinds of legal and illegal bionic and cybernetic implants at body chop shops. This is where you're going to find body chop shops and cyber docs and all that kind of stuff, as well as smugglers and people selling contraband of all kind. But this book talks more about the chop shops, how they work, where you can find them, cyber snatchers, which are dastardly villains who, just like to quite literally hack and slash your cyborgs and partially augmented humans and especially non-humans, and to pirate their bionics and sell them to chop shops who don't ask questions. It also provides a ton of information about these city rats. There's 7 different types of city rats in this book. There's all kinds of information about how cyber snatchers work. And there's like over 200 cybernetics, all collected and some new in this book, along with biosystems and techno wizard cybernetics. There's just a ton. There's like encounter tables. There's like just all kinds of great stuff.
Yeah,
in this book. It's one of our best-selling books ever. So, there's rules about repairing bionics and all kinds of cool stuff. So if you're playing in the Burbs, check this baby out because you'll want it.
Well, and as we talked about last time, right, the cyberpunk themes of Rifts really have a major home in the Burbs. And that's why this book is just sort of a foundational, if you're playing in, essentially a burb anywhere in the world. Again, Triax in the NGR, coalition states, Japan, some places in South America, any of these like cities that have either maintained or rediscovered their high level of technology, there's going to be this kind of liminal space between the people who have and the wilderness. And that liminal space, that's the Burbs, right? That's,
Yep. And you find them in Free Quebec. You find them in Ironheart. You find them all over the place. So the Burbs are just great. They're just great fun.
Yeah. Okay. So the first book that I saw when I was getting back into Rifts and saw, what the hell? What are the Burbs? Like, why do I have source books that are available on the Burbs? Was Forbidden Knowledge. And it's got a great cover. Coalition soldiers surrounding a psychic of some sort who's, telekinetically lifting these rocks and about to, in theory, either bludgeon them to death or be shot. What's in Forbidden Knowledge and kind of why did you start our journey into the Burbs here?
So this book is the first book that really begins to flesh out the Burbs as like a setting. So there's an overview on the Burbs, how they came into being, why they exist, that kind of thing. And then it focuses down onto the burb known as Firetown.
Okay.
And so it starts to list like some specific places, notable places within Firetown, what Firetown is like, various rumors of things going on. So it's a really good introduction to the setting as a burb.
So I know Firetown is the focus for the first and kind of second of these source books. Can you give us a high-level overview of what Firetown is and why it's different from the rest of the burbs and why we as GMs or players would want to go dig into it?
Yeah. So we this is the second book.
Mm-hmm.
And it really goes into a bunch of different things. This book has a bunch of maps. I think this one has a map or two. This one has maps and highlights more places within the burb of Firetown. Firetown is a more built up burb. Like a lot of them are just like tent cities and shanty towns. And Firetown is one of the little bit older burbs. It's a little bit more sophisticated. It's a little bit more built up. It's more like a town,
okay,
as opposed to a tent city with a bunch of squatters. And so you have a bit more established background for a bunch of the places and the people who run them. And it gives you a little bit more, I think, intrigue and stuff. We also talk about what's going on with the siege on Tolkien and people coming to Firetown and causing trouble. Like you've got retribution squads and things like that. And so just a lot more intrigue, a lot more depth. It's a more in-depth look at it with some specific residents of Firetown. And it's kind of set up to be sort of a template for you to make other burbs, because burbs come and go. I mean, it's not like it's there forever. It's kind of like, the old Deadwood of the Old West.
Yeah.
It was there for 7 years and then gone as a ghost town. But it was famous, famous lawmen and people were there. And it's part of the Old West lore and myths. But it was just a blip on the radar as far as time goes. And that's the same thing of a lot of these areas, sections of the burbs. And this is Firetown is one of the more built up and established. They've been there for a couple decades. And that makes them, something different. And it's a great place for, characters can come and sell goods, trade goods, trade in illegal contraband as far as the coalition's concerned.
Mm-hmm.
It's a place for some R&R. It's like your old Western towns, where you come in and where's the saloon and where's the armory and where's the, this or that. And so it's a place where they can, rest, they can sell stuff, they can resupply and buy stuff. It's also a place where they can catch rumors about things going on and maybe find a job or find someone to hire them, or, someone's in trouble and we need to help them. There's just all these kind of things in there. And Firetown kind of establishes a lot of places they can go. And some are straight up, businesses. Others have a shady background, and it's all kind of covered in there.
Yeah. Well, and again, in our last episode, we talked about, this is a great place to play coalition soldiers. And patrolling an area that is more like a town. If the coalition were to enfranchise a burb, this is the kind of burb they would be looking at, as opposed to some of the more almost refugee camps where a lot more people can hide, a lot more undesirables can hide. These people are at least showing the ingenuity that humanity that we want to support. There's probably a little bit more of an eye on a place like Firetown, which allows you to have sort of these street level, operations coming out of Chi-Town. All right, you're going to be on patrol in Firetown for the next 2 weeks. Don't go native, right? Essentially.
Right. Yeah. Right. And we were talking about it. This is more like, for those of you familiar with the old movie Casablanca with Humphrey Bogart, this is sort of your Casablanca, where, it's got laws and law enforcement, but, it's all pretty shady. There's a lot of under table deals, a lot of, I'll turn a blind eye for the right amount of money or credits in this case.
Yeah.
Or a piece of action. There's a great scene in that movie where
my favorite scene
where the inspector is So in the Casablanca movie, it's set in World War II, and there's a bunch of Nazis there, and Casablanca is theoretically a sort of a free zone, much like the Burbs, where the Nazis don't have a ton of official power. They kind of let them go on their own, but they do. They have a lot of influence, and the Nazis are there, and there's an SS guy there, and they're like, "What? There's gambling and stuff going on," and our sort of anti-hero, played by Claude Rains, is like, "What? There's gambling here? Oh, I'm shocked, just shocked." And one of the servers comes up and goes, "You're winning, sir." He grabs it and shoves it in there and close down all this. Rick, I'm so disappointed in you. That's not all the Burbs, but it's certainly some of the Burbs, and it's certainly Firetown.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about one more, because this was the one that really intrigued me. This was the one that got me to initially look at the Burbs books and then fall in love with them. Let's talk about the Black Vault, because this is the book that like fully set the hook in my mouth as a GM of why I would ever want to send players into the Burbs. Give us the rundown on the Black Vault.
Oh, the Black Vault is cool because we all know the Coalition is anti-magic. And yet there are rumors that there's a place known as the Black Vault where Coalition forces gather up magic, especially alien magic and high-powered magic and things that they see that are especially dangerous to the Coalition states. And they store them in the Black Vault. And you can imagine the Black Vault as the end of Indiana Jones, where you have this massive warehouse, or the older TV show called Warehouse 13.
Warehouse 13, yeah.
Where there's all this magic and strange stuff kept. And according to rumors, the Black Vault may actually be hidden not in the fortified city of Chi-Town, but somewhere beneath the Burbs. Which kind of makes sense, because why would a Coalition be like you saying, "Hey, I've got weapons of mass destruction. I'm not bringing them under the capital city, Washington, D.C. No, I'm going to keep them someplace that isn't important, and if people get blowed up."
Yeah, close enough that we can access it deposit material and keep an eye on it, but not inside the walls. Yeah.
Right? Now, whether that's true or not, whether the Black Vault is real or not, that's for you and your players to find out. But it's an intriguing idea.
Oh, it's a great idea. What's in the book? Like for GMs who are like, "Oh, I kind of want to know what's in this. What's in the Black Vault?" Again, high level. We don't want spoilers. You should go out and buy this book.
Nothing. There's no reason to buy this book. No, there's lots of reasons to buy this book, because there are 101 magic items.
Not 100.
101.
Our dials go up to 101.
There's techno-wizard items and magic weapons and potions and scrolls and all kinds of stuff. And the reason it's 101, because it's kind of set up where you could do random rolls if you want.
Oh, nice.
So you could roll that percentile die and, what is the magic item number 43 in the Black Vault? And it's there, and there's a ton of different adventure ideas. It also talks about the Coalition's history and their love-hate relationship with magic. It talks about the Black Vault and the Coalition anti-magic recovery squads. These are the squads that go out and capture stuff. So if your group has a magic item that is particularly interesting or dangerous or powerful, you might have a close encounter with a CS recovery squad.
Yeah, I love that idea, because then it also provides a lure. Well, we want to get this thing back. Where could it be? Well, we've heard rumors of the Black Vault. That's got to be where these guys are operating out of. All right, everybody in the ATV, we're heading to Chi-Town.
And the cool thing of that is, me as a game master, I would really play on that and would have them, we got to find a Black Vault. That's got to be where our weapon is. And as they're walking by some magic shop, they're like, "Hey, Bob, isn't that our magic item hanging in the window?" It just, I mean, you never know. It could have gotten stolen. It could have gotten captured by someone else once it was taken away from you.
It could have fallen off the truck.
Exactly.
I mean, that sort of stuff happened all the time in history. Like if you start digging into where paintings went, in the 1940s in Europe, a lot of these things could sort of, it fell off the truck and then turned up in private collections, later on
around the world. Yeah. And not just paintings, but all kinds of sculptures and jewelry and rare book editions and that kind of thing. So
all the sort of things that could be magical in a game of Riffs.
That's right. And certainly contraband. Think about it too, is what are in some of these magic items? Like a lot of tech, especially high powered techno wizard items, and especially Splugorth bio-wizard items, they contain entities and living beings sometimes to power creatures of magic, to power that magic item. What if something got loose and now is running amok in the burbs? Or it used to be your item, and now that being is not happy because you were forcing it to do things against its will, and now it's out to get you.
Is it better for them to keep it out of your hands and just let it sit? Because then they don't risk. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, yes, technically you can extract plutonium out of a nuke. It's probably very dangerous. So is it better to just store this thing where it's on hand if you need it, but you're not putting a bunch of other people at risk by opening this thing up? Now imagine that with, again, magical entities or whatever the hell the techno wizard decided to power his device with. It's not like the Coalition really understands it.
And let's not forget the Federation of Magic, rival factions of adventurers, mercenaries, Splugorth spies, Triac spies, spies from the Kingdom of Monsters in Calgary. There's all kinds of things going on, and all these guys may want the same magic item that you want, or they may want to find a black vault. They might hire you to find a black vault. There can be all kinds of leads that don't go to the black vault, but you don't know that until you follow that lead. And even if it doesn't go to the black vault, it might still take you to something very rewarding, very exciting, a great combat adventure or investigation. And it lets your mind go and really explore the possibilities. It's just a great catalyst for adventure.
Yeah. Well, and speaking about possibilities and catalysts, next time we're going to talk about, as Kevin said, there is this love-hate relationship that the CS has with magic. And the last two books that we're going to talk about in our exploration of the Burbs, we're going to deal with the Coalition in the Burbs and how that you guys can play as both the PsyOps people who are going out there doing counterintelligence and as the rumored vanguard. But we'll save that for next time. Kevin, as always, thank you so much for just giving us an insight behind the books that we love and the universe that we love.
I love it. Thanks, JM.